What you been doing today, Amber?
I have been sitting in the sun, catching dem rays, and I covered myself in some Johnson's baby oil to really soak it up, and now I'm quite oily, which is not nice. And then what else did I do? I listened to the most recent episode of Crime Junkie, tried to listen to another true crime podcast that was boring, and then wrote 2 monologues, and then drank some beer in the sun.
Nice.
What about you guys?
I did a workout this morning and then like had a shower and stuff, had some lunch, and then I edited my dissertation down for that magazine thing. Spoke to my dad about that, and he gave me like some tips of how to make it a bit less like academic-y and a bit better. So I did that, and then that was literally it. And then we watched some telly, and then drinks in the garden and a barbecue.
I had my breakfast, and then my lunch, and then my tea.
I'm still a piece of garbage.
And there was some pauses in between those meals. Inside the garden.
Your hair looks nice.
Huh?
Your hair looks really nice.
Cute.
I like it like that.
Just go.
I could like it like that.
I really, really don't like it like that.
I hate that. We watched a documentary on OnlyFans. There's a woman who made 44 grand a month. She was 20 and had her own house, like boss ass nicest house I've ever seen. And she was like, it's really lonely though. But I was like,
give me that money, hun.
You literally buy friends. I would buy Animal Crossing and just speak to my animals.
I am really, really, really in the wrong line of work.
Current favourite celebrity of the week is Jojo Siwa. I love her. I think she is fucking class. That's all I'll say about it. I think she's just like living her best, isn't she? She just loves it.
I don't think I've ever seen so much glitter on it. Like,
she had her 17th birthday party was a Jojo Siwa themed birthday party.
That is the aspiration.
She's just like so boss ass. She's so confident. She doesn't care what anyone thinks. She's just like, this is just how I want to be, and I'm just like living my best. And I just have so much respect for that.
But she's like 19.
She's 17. There we go.
So what are we doing this week?
This week and that's the video.
We can all do that. Like and subscribe. See ya.
Bye. This week we all watched
Moving Parts,
which is the Trixie Mattel documentary on Netflix. Shall we just dive straight in?
Mm-hmm. I thought that it was really, 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 really well made. I thought that I loved the format of it and the structure. And as you both know, Trixie isn't my favourite queen, purely because I just don't think I was really like on... I don't know. I didn't really follow season 7 that closely other than Katya. So everyone else was just kind of like meh. And I thought I didn't think that she kind of showed what she could do on her season, as she admits as well. And then on All Stars, she also because everything was like foreshadowed by Dela.
I'm going home. What?
I can't breathe. Are you serious? I can't breathe.
Literally. What?
the fuck is going on in here on this day?
It was kind of like Dela and Shangela, I was like, my queens. And then she was just kind of a bit, I don't know.
Yeah, I think when I got into drag quite a bit later than both of you. I know, Abby, you've been into it, especially Drag Race, like since like season 1 literally was aired. And you've been into it as well for like, would you say what, like 5 or 6 years now? Like, what would you say was like the first proper season?
The first season I ever watched was season 3.
While it was on.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, I didn't watch Drag Race until my second year of university, which means I've only really been into it for sort of 2 years. And I watched it from the start, but I didn't watch season 7. I watched like the first 4 or 5 episodes, and then I went to season 8.
I remember you doing that. You were like,
I was
this
just
is
like,
boring.
I think that
Max's
because after
season.
season 5 after season 5 and season 6, which is obviously like Bianca's season 5, and then you've got like, I know she doesn't win, but like you've got Alyssa in season
5. Bianca season 6.
The other way around, but you've got like with those two queens, and like I just absolutely love them so much, and like I already knew a lot about Alyssa because I know you and MJ like love Alyssa, and then I watched season 7, and there wasn't anyone that I like sort of like attached myself to the way I did with those seasons, so I didn't really know anything about Trixie until pretty much today when I watched that documentary. And then the only thing I know from All Stars is everyone was just like, she shouldn't have won. So I think I had like a really biased, sort of like uneducated opinion of her. And yeah,
I definitely thought that like watching the documentary, I realized that it's not her that I don't like, I just don't think that her type of drag fits with Drag Race. I just don't think her as a person really fits with Drag Race, because like when I was watching like the footage of her show, I was like, oh, I think I'd actually enjoy going to watch that. Yeah.
The thing that I first, the thing that I thought you tutted at me because I was speaking again and you hadn't really spoken yet.
What a read.
I think you're like, the thing that like made me think, oh, I think I'm going to enjoy this is we watched RuPaul's All-Star Celebrity Secret, RuPaul's Drag Race Secret Pandora box. Secret.
I'm about to keep it, and you won't tell no one.
We watched that, and Trixie was on episode 2 of that as like one of the coaches.
She's on episode 1, isn't she?
Trixie was on. We watched that, and Trixie was on episode 1 of that.
Got your episodes right.
So in season 54, that was really when Sharon Needles came in, and that was just great.
Jinx Monsoon.
Water off a duck's back.
Don't.
Trixie was on episode 1 of Celebrity Drew.
RuPaul.
Oh, Drew Valley's Drag Race.
Oh. Yeah, Trixie was one of the coaches on Celebrity RuPaul's Secret Drag Race Queens on episode 1, and I really, really.
What episode was she on?
1. The first one.
Oh no.
And I really, really liked Brian, like Trixie out of drag, and I was like, oh, I really like him. Like, he seems really cool, and like he knows what he's talking about, obviously. And like, I was like, oh, I like you. Why do I hate your drag? And then like watching sort of like a couple of clips from like season 7 and All Stars to sort of like prep for this, I was like, oh, it's I like him. I don't really love Trixie. I think it was an odd addition to the documentary to be like, loads of people write to me and like tell me about like suicide and mental health, and like, I mean, I'm like a happy person, like, why are you telling me this? And I was like, I was watching that and I get it, I completely get it, and I think like that must be really fucking difficult to like read. And I was saying to Paige, like, Mayhem Miller posted on Instagram the other day, like, don't ever joke about suicide, because someone said on her Instagram live, if you don't like notice me, I'm gonna kill myself. But I think like there also is like a certain amount of sort of like responsibility when you've got a platform like that, where like if people are saying those things to you, you've got to take it a little bit seriously. And I don't think she didn't take it seriously, but the comment just like was a little bit jarring of like, why are you telling me that? And I was a bit like, ooh, that's not going to land well with some people, I don't think.
Yeah, it was like where she meets the fan at the meet and greet, and it was just like a really awkward encounter, and I was just a bit like,
yeah, every single one of those British fans made me ashamed to be British. They were so embarrassing and like cringe to watch, and oh my god, it was like I wanted to like skip through it. I was literally like, oh my god,
Secondhand embarrassment.
See this? Yeah, it was like, oh, not.
do you know what I was thinking? You know, when like it was when they were like panning the panning the queue, and there was like loads of people in Trixie merch, obviously, and I was just thinking about when I was like 14 going to concerts wearing a Beyonce t-shirt, thinking that because I wore that t-shirt she would somehow like notice me and I'd be the only person there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was watching that and I was just like, I need this to end.
Also, if like those shows are like they start at like 9 and go on until like midnight, I would definitely be smashed if I was going to watch that.
Oh.
By the time they interviewed, I'd be like,
I said asleep.
I think it shows a lot though. Trixie is a person, and like especially as well, like the very real side of what Brian goes through when he's not performing as Trixie.
Well, there's like the bit with it's Jinx, I think he's with, isn't he? And I'm pretty sure it's Jinx.
And they're in the dressing room.
Yeah. And they were just like Jinx and Trixie were both literally like, drag is so ugly until the last 8 seconds, and then you like put your wig on and you're dress up and whatever, and you're done, and you're like, oh my god, I'm the most beautiful person ever. And I think like what he was saying at the beginning, he was like, when you're a drag queen, you need to believe that you are the most beautiful, famous person ever. And I think like that was really interesting, that seeing the contrast of like Brian and then like putting on like that final 8 seconds of becoming Trixie, and all of a sudden his confidence was just like through the roof. And I think like that's such a huge thing for like people who I know who love drag, who do drag, and when I've watched Drag Race, like I know that's such a huge thing. And I think that was represented really, really well, of like the power of drag and what that can do for a person's like self-esteem and confidence and like love of themselves. And I thought that was really good.
I did like the bit about it was like actually quite like sobering, the bit about Katya, and like just before Katya went off to rehab and stuff like that. But when Trixie was like, oh, I don't think people are going to watch it if I'm not there. I don't know what, like it's more than just a friend, but like it's also my career. And then I was like thinking, whenever I watch either Trixie and Katya or I always watch it for Katya, and I feel like the producers encouraged Trixie to speak more, and that always kind of like jarred me, because I was like, oh, it doesn't feel like it's even, stuff like that. But now I realise that it's probably her overcompensating because she thinks that everyone doesn't like, that no one likes her and everyone is there for Katya. So that was kind of like oh right, okay.
And that like we're speaking to that because like the minute we started talking about this, we was like, we watched it for Katya, like season 7 we watched for Katya, so we missed Trixie. And like the only reason I've watched any of those things is because I really love Katya, so I've gone, I'll watch their show, and then I've never really focused on Trixie. And I feel sad now, like
how much like
but it's because Katya is just so like I'm not saying Trixie's not unique and individual, but because Katya is very bold and very just like out there and does say exactly what like ever comes out of her mouth. My love towards her just leans.
I think like along the similar line, that was documented really well, like Katya going to rehab, and I think like that was a really interesting side. I think sort of like the thing that Trixie said, which was like, everyone says that they really care about Katya and they really love her and they really hope that she gets better, but they're also in the exact same tweet like bitching at me for her not being on the show anymore. And I was just like, that, like, I think that's such an important point to say just about like fandom in general. And like you could even like, at risk of like going off on a tangent about that, but like you could even tie that into sort of like the stuff that's happening at the moment with like everyone wants football to come back, and everyone's like, I want football to come back, like I love my club, I love the players that play for my club, I need it to come back, like it's from the nation spirit, blah 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 blah. What are you going to do if like 50 of the best players in the Premier League get coronavirus and die? like, do you care about that, or do you like you say you
just
care
want it
about
for your own
and I think
selfishness?
it's like that's such a commentary on like all types of fandom of like, I love this person and I put them on this pedestal, but only when they're serving me the way I want them to serve me. And I think that was interesting.
I really appreciated Trixie talking more about their like childhood and their family life, and like I think the most like gut wrenching thing was for me was, and this probably sounds really trivial, but like watching him pay his mom's bill, and I was literally like
Yeah.
it was really, I think the entire documentary was really sobering on the fact that like Trixie's a real person.
I almost wish I could like erase Drag Race and like drag and everything I know about drag from my brain and watch it again. Like, I'd be really interested to watch it with like my dad. I know it sounds really weird, but like, and see like what he thought, like what versus like what he like now thinks drag is, versus like watching something like that and like understanding that it's what it actually, I don't know, do you know what I mean? Like, I'd be interested to watch it with someone who doesn't understand like the world of drag very well, and like see if that helps or if it hinders or like confuses more and like that sort of thing.
I think even if I just didn't know Trixie and her drag, I think watching it for the first time, because I think that is one thing that I really liked about the documentary, was that it was very kind of like methodical and slow, like in terms of like because I think when you watch Drag Race, it's just all really really like fast paced, and then there's suddenly, like they're talking about, I don't know, a death of someone, and then suddenly they're ready. But it was like very much a process, which I really enjoyed. Bag of chips is funny, bag of chips is cloud,
Bag of chips is stunning.
That's the wrong word, it's a number.
Bag of chips is stunning, bag of chips is flat, bag of chips is sexy, she takes it up the
What did I sing?
funny. True though, she is funny. I appreciate, because I think I misjudged Trixie very harshly in like season 7 and on All Stars, because I thought she was just like almost like a Dolly Parton impersonator. I didn't really get what her drag was, and I know you touched on that earlier, but like watching her like when she's doing her moving parts tour, like watching her set up for that and stuff, I was like, oh, I actually think I'd really enjoy it. And like, she's a really talented singer, and like
her country music, mate, like actually like slaps. Like it was, I was watching it and I was like, if I think, and like, this is so awful of me, but like I think if that album didn't say Trixie Mattel on the front of it and it wasn't like Trixie, who I think I don't like, I'd probably go out of my way and listen to it. But I think I don't like her, like in the back of my head, so I'm like, I can't listen to that. But like listening to her recorded music and stuff, I was like, she's a really fucking talented songwriter. I was gonna ask, like, what are your thoughts, feels about season 12 of both season 12 of Drag Race and also All Stars 5 cast?
All Stars 5 cast, boring apart from Ongina, Shay, Cracker, and Jojo, who, and it'll obviously be between Cracker and Shay.
Even Cracker though, I'm a bit like, it was a little bit like, for me, I don't know, I found it a little bit bland in season 10, 9?
10 with Aquaria.
Yeah. I don't know,
because they made it out like they were twins, and Miss Cracker and Aquaria look nothing like each other.
When I think Miss Cracker in my head, I only see Jackie Cox. I know that's so dumb, but like,
I kind of similar.
Yeah, because I know they're similar. I'm literally like, why the hell is Derek Barry coming? Like, I don't care. Unless Derek Barry is gonna claim to have run 100 meters faster than Usain Bolt in Britney drag, I literally don't want to know.
It's just like they used up all of their good queens, so now they've like, I can promise you I did not think about Mariah Balenciaga the second she left in season 3. Like I
can
literally didn't know she
existed.
existed.
Mariah once.
I think about every day.
You look down the list of contestants that he's had on every season.
I'm like, who did?
And it has gone, can't really bring Shangela back again. So let's have Mariah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think like the problem is, I think like and I'm sure they know it, but like they need to do a winners All Stars for me to like care about All Stars again, because I think like they've used all the actual stars, and like, the All Stars that they're bringing back now aren't stars. They're just apart from the
very newest ones.
Apart from the few you just mentioned, but like the stars they're bringing back now aren't stars, and they're very like didn't win for a reason. Whereas like in like season 1 and 2 of All Stars, it's very like, oh yeah, like you could have, if you'd had like a better week that one week you went, you could have won. So I think like they know that they need to do a winners All Stars, but I think they know Bianca won't do it, and there's just no point.
Yeah, there's like Bianca said many a time that she won't do it, and that's the only reason anyone would watch, because
she'd sweep.
Yeah,
she would.
I literally like, I don't care what queen you throw at me, like I will always think that Bianca will win.
Sitting on a secret. Yeah, it's been pretty fun, guys. Like and subscribe. If you want to see more, let us know what you want us to do, because we aren't creative in the slightest.
What we're doing on Friday? Toot or boot?
Trinity, Trisha. Toot or boot?
No, toot or boot on Friday.
I don't understand what I'm doing.
Just press stop.